Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day everyone. My name is Sulung Kharisma and I'll be acting as the moderator and the timekeeper of this debate session. I'll be replacing Venerandra because she's supposed to be our moderator for today, but she did not attend and does not give us any information. So, the motion of this debate is, this House believes that the acts of violence are sometimes necessary to advance in social movement. Okay, so I will introduce the member of the government of this debate. First, we have Hendrik Kusnaini as the Prime Minister of the government, which will not attend here in the class but will attend through an online video. And then we have Devy Permatasari as Deputy Prime Minister. She will also attend the same way as Hendrik. And then Fikri Ariandi as the government member and Muhammad Hafiz as the government whip. And in the opposition group, we have Mikael Dede as the Deputy Leader of Opposition, Jon Nehemia as the Deputy Prime Leader of Opposition, Alessandro Gilbert Toban as Opposition Member, and Poni Betriks as Opposition Whip, which she did not attend today, but she might be in online video as well, just like Hendrik and Devy. Okay, let's start this debate by the Prime Minister of the government. Hendrik Kusnaini, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hendrik Kusnaini, and thank you to Marathon and all for making me speak. Domestic violence. Domestic violence is any age against a person, especially a woman, which result in a physical, sexual, psychological, misery of suffering, and or regulation of the household, including treats, to committed, correction, or an unlawful prohibition of celibacy within the household. The impact of a violence again. Then the impact of violence again. The wife in a kitchen is experiencing physical pain, mental stress, decreased self and confidence and self-esteem, experiencing a sense of helplessness, experiencing dependence. On a husband who has two sons, him experiencing post-traumatic stress, experiencing depression, and wanting to commit suicide. Domestic violence. Domestic violence is an against a person, especially a woman, which is result of physical, sexual, physiological, necessary of suffering and or regret of the household, including trace to coming at cursing or deprivation. That's all for me. Terus IT. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Hendrik. Next is the turn for Mikael Dede as the Prime Minister of the Opposition. Mikael Dede, the time is yours.
Alright, thank you, Sulung. Give me a chance to speak. First, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mikael Dede, and today I will be acting as Prime Minister of Opposition. Violence is any exercise, physical strength, with or without the use of means that is against the law and pose a danger to body, life, and violence to liberty, including rendering people or person powerless. For now, I think violence is not required again because it's not effective and contradict with human rights. The people more interested with non-violence approach, and I believe it can advance the social movement.
1 minute.
That's my argument. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Dede. Next is the turn for Devy Permatasari as the Deputy Leader of the government. Devy Permatasari, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Devy Permatasari. Here I am as Deputy Prime Minister. Physical sanctions are tolerable within certain limits. Hard education came from students who are silent. Violence around the world is not allowed. The definition of violence in education is punishment or which feels harsh for the child so that the child feels pain. Punishment in education should give awareness, not the repeat the mistake again. But this term of violence is different from the context of corporal punishments. Corporal punishment, example, which can mean push up, running around the field, cleaning or sweeping the library, is permissible in an educational context and should be mutually agreed upon by the teacher and students and informed to parents. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Devy. Next is the turn of Jon Nehemia as the deputy leader of the opposition. Jon Nehemia, the time is yours.
Good day, everyone, and thank you to the moderators giving me the opportunity to speak. First, let's introduce my name is Jon Nehemia. Here, I am Deputy Prime Minister of the session. We can know that violent behavior is condition in which a person performs action that can physically harm himself, other, and the environment. It's no secret that conflict in this times. This is steps so that conflict shall be avoided as possible. But the fact so the conflict can trigger a lot of progress innovation, and correctly this is when viewed from the positive side of the conflict. But if the conflict views from the negative side, the conflict will trigger aggression, which will actually cause one group to be destroyed. From this question arises, how do we deal with conflict? In addition, we also can solve conflict on the point in right fashion, hearing, and specific language. Increase risk of chronic disease of city advertisements like cancer, asthma, coronary heart disease, cancer, and the liver. Thank you all that from me.
Okay, thank you, John. Next is the turn of Fikri Ariandi as the government member. Fikri Ariandi, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and the member of this house. Thank you for the opportunity that has given to me. My name is Fikri Ariandi as the third speaker of the government team. Our motion today is this house believes that acts of violence are sometimes necessary to advance social movements. Social movements is a collective behavior characterized by common interests and long-term goals, namely to change or maintain society or the institution that exists in it. One example of a social movement is the reform movement. The reform movement occurred at the people's demand on the government. In general, the background in the emergence of reforms was due to
1 minute.
irregularities and unfair treatment in the New Order era. To carry out the reform movement, a little violence is needed so that the voice of the people can be heard by the government. But use enough force and don't overdo it. That is all I can say. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Fikri. Next is the turn of Alessandro Gilbert Toban as the opposition member. Alessandro Gilbert Toban, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time, moderator. My name is Alessandro Gilbert Toban as the member of opposition. I disagree with the motion because in the current context, these findings have sparked much online debate, including critics of muscle work and a sustained rebuttal by the author of claims that his research allows people to blame inner city, the others, and ignore other causes, but the overall message of research on violence during protests is coming into focus. Violence in the form of protests or riots may receive attention and some policy response, but it comes at great cost. In the case of black social movements, violence protest has been associated with more restrictive administrations and sustained damage to black communities. More generally, violence allows counter-movement actors, or e.g. far-right activists, to defeat African American activists as
1 minute
and not worthy of support. In short, violence does not work for social movements. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gilbert. Next is the turn of the government whip, Muhammad Hafiz. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you to the moderator for giving me a chance. Recently, there has been a lot of news about violence against children. Some were between desert with her water, and some had their bodies around. This is very continuing and reinforces the perception that violence against children cannot be resolved. In Indonesia, violence against children has been entrenched and carried out for generations. As a result, from years to years, cause of violence against children continue to grow. One of the triggers is profit of economies, difficult faced by parents, the assumption that children belong to their present, so that present have the right to do anything.
1 minute.
To their children is clear not fully justified because is principally children are a gift from good the parent to be loved, cared for and praised. Only that for me, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hafiz. Next is the turn of Poni Betriks as the opposition whip. Poni Betriks, the time is yours. Okay, thank you everyone for your participation today. As for which group will win this debate session, it will be decided by Sir Sahrawi. Thank you again for attending for today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.